Welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Christy Eckert from the Marion Crawford Prevention Programs. Welcome back, Christy.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, we're getting into spring. This is now in April that we're going to be talking about, the things of April. We got a lot of things coming, that would involve, first of all, maybe just briefly, just share with us what the Marion Crawford Prevention Programs are about, so in case this is their first time.
Sure. Marion Crawford Prevention Programs works to prevent youth substance use. Part of our agency works with students in all the Marion and Crawford County schools to guide them and to encourage them to be drug and alcohol free. And then we know that peers influence peers, so peer-led prevention. And then we also have our Crawford and the Crawford Prevention Coalition and our Drug Free Marion Coalition that kind of just helps reinforce everything that's taught to the kids, teaches parents how to have conversations, the community how they can support prevention, all of that stuff. So teaching the community how to support prevention.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a very timely topic because we have proms and graduation and these sort of spring type of things coming up. Maybe you can kind of enlighten us some things that maybe we ought to be thinking about.
Yes, definitely. With that prom and graduation season, nationally about 1,000 kids under the age of 21 die each year while celebrating prom or graduation. And that's a scary number. It's a lot of kids to lose. And we want to remind parents to have conversations with their teens around substance use. First, saying, I expect that you won't use, but talk to them about the harms of their developing brain and developing body and how that can harm them in the future. And then also, with these parties and these gatherings, teaching them some refusal skills, giving them tips on how they can, say no to their friends. Peer pressure is hard and it's a real thing. And
especially for very young people.
Yes, and we all give into, even adults, sometimes we give into peer pressure. So giving them some skills to, how to respond, go in pairs with another friend who feels the same way you do. A lot of times I always tell people and kids, blame your parents. My parents would kill me if they knew I used this substance or I drank. So I tell my kids and tell other parents to tell their kids, use us as an excuse. It's our desire, and my parents would kill me.
Well, if it's a thing here that when you're young, you don't always make the best of choices. Let's just be honest. And there's something with life and having experiences of life that later on is sort of like you've inputted a lot of information from life, so you already have a history, and you already kind of know this is what to expect. And when you're young like that, everything seems possible and wonderful and happy. And there are not people. There are people. We don't look at things quite as how do I want to say, rose-colored glasses when you get a little older.
Oh, definitely. And we know too, with much research now that the fear part of a youth's brain isn't developed. So that frontal part that makes reasonable decisions and stuff, it's not totally developed either. So really it's unrealistic for us to expect them to always make great decisions because they don't have that piece in their brain even developed yet. And like you said, experiences teach us, wrong from right or, harm. So it's a lot of different things that really we have to guide them because they don't want to do wrong. They don't want to hurt themselves. They want guidance and they need guidance.
Well, I'd also say how a lot of this takes place too is everyone wants to be accepted. And for the most part, most people want to be liked.
Exactly.
And so if it looks like I might not be liked or accepted, people tend to go guide their life in that way.
Oh, definitely. And that's again why we kind of talk about, have a plan, have a friend. So if you're going to a graduation party and you don't want to, participate in any sort of substance use, take other friends like you. So then, if one is tempted by someone else or pressured, those other friends can say, you know what? No, none of us are interested, or let's look at something else, or let's not do this. Think about this. And then if they don't listen, then the group leaves. Traveling in packs, that's helpful. That's
very
power.
Much so. Very, very much so.
Yeah.
Another thing I think about this time of year too, when you get into spring and parties and graduation and prom and all these various things, people behind the wheel.
Yes, and you know, as a parent myself, I'm always more worried about the other guy, and most people are. But you know, we have to teach our teens to be responsible as well. You know, obviously not using substances when you're driving, adults or youth, but paying attention and not being distracted. You know, we've seen the data over the last few years. You know, so many people are harmed or die because of distracted driving. So making sure, you know, we tell our youth, make sure you're not distracted. Yeah, you can listen to the radio or talk with your friend, but make sure you're paying attention to the road. You know, also slow down. A third of all fatal car crashes happen with speed as a factor. So that's scary. And so just slowing down that little bit makes good sense. And then also being alert. You know, sometimes parties can run late. You know, proms can run late. Make sure that you're not falling asleep. And if you need to, call for help. You know, call a friend, call your parents. And I think it's important for us as parents to remind our kids that we are here to help you. So if you are in a sticky situation and you need to get out or you need a ride because your friends don't want to leave the party, but you do, we need to make sure our kids know it's safe for them to call us. We're not going to judge them. We're not going to berate them, you know, because their friends stayed behind. They need to feel safe, and we need to help provide that. So having that out in some way, shape, or form.
Now, as I go to wrap this today, I just got to thinking, we've got people listening to this podcast, and how do I find out more about the Marion Crawford
Yes,
Prevention Coalition?
You can visit our Facebook pages. So Crawford Prevention Coalition has a Facebook page, as well as our Drug Free Marion, and we always are throwing tips and information, data, all kinds of things out there for parents and community events that are exciting, and then whatever our coalitions are doing, if we're at events or if we're in the community or we're working with our students. So we're always throwing stuff like that on our Facebook page, and there's always great resources there.
Well, Christy, I appreciate having you in today, and again, sharing knowledge and giving us a lot to think about. And we need to be watching out for one another and for our youth. And sometimes we just need to be a little more aware, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do. And again, it's everybody's job to take care of our youth. I mean, we can all be influencers in their life and influence them. Some might not have it at home, some might, but still, it's all our jobs.
Well, thank you again, Christy Eckert from the Marion Crawford Prevention Programs, and we'll have you back again soon.
Great, thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.